Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Commissioners' meeting this morning. If you will, we will have a moment of silent prayer and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need to go out to the public hearing for the Community Transportation Program Project Grant. I need a motion to go in. So,
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We now set the public hearing.
Good morning. The Castle County Area Transportation System is required to complete the Community Transportation Grant application and the capital call for project grant application for the year 2023-24 by January the 6th, 2023. We are required to hold a public hearing on the proposed projects to allow members of the community the opportunity to comment on the transportation needs and the grant application. And we did run a public hearing in the Castle Messenger for the meeting for today. We are requesting to replace one of the buses in our fleet that has met the useful life required mileage in the FY24 grant application. We are requesting administrative funding in the 5311 CTP grant application. The Capital 5310 purchase service objective is to provide transportation services that meet the special needs of elderly persons and persons with disabilities to whom the mass transportation services are unavailable, insufficient, or inappropriate. We will need to have a motion made by the board members and seconded by another board member for the adoption of the grant applications. All local matching funds require our transportation dollars. No ad valorem tax dollars are required for the operation of CATS. CATS is operating as a standalone enterprise fund. We are requesting $132,257 in administrative funds, which is our salaries, benefits. It includes like maybe office materials, copier, our internet, just things like that for administrative costs. And we are asking for, in capital, we're replacing one of the buses in our fleet, and the estimated cost to replace the bus is $130,000. Yet that has more than doubled since the last bus that we did purchase, but that is the cost that they're estimating for FY24 for buses to cost with the cost of inflation. In 5310 capital, we're requesting $20,000. So our total project is $282,257 that we're requesting in grant applications, and our local share for our matches is $34,840. Like I stated, that will come out of the enterprise funds through CATS transportation.
Any questions?
I move that we accept the grant application.
Mr. Chairman, if you will, this is a public hearing. If you'll offer the public the opportunity to comment on the grant applications and CATS before we move forward with the motion, I think that would be appropriate.
Is there anyone who wants to speak? No. Go ahead with the motion.
I move that we accept the Community Transportation Program Project Grant application.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor of accepting it? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. It's been accepted.
Thank you.
Approval of the consent agenda and A and B subs under.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner comments? Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to take a moment to thank especially the residents of District 1 that not only elected me, but re-elected me. It has been an honor and pleasure to serve for the past 8 years. There are parts of this that I will miss. There are parts that I will not miss. That, I want to do a little jig almost at times, but I do appreciate everything and the support that I received. Especially want to thank those citizens who were willing to call me, not just in my district, but across the county, when they had issues, when they had problems. We were able to work towards getting those problems resolved instead of them just running out and putting it on Facebook and making all kind of comments. I appreciate that. Most of the time we were able to resolve, or at least get it where they were okay with it. So I want to especially thank commissioners, but especially Commissioner Hall, Commissioner Jeffries. You've been with me. You've been here for 8 years with me, and I just appreciate your help through the years. You're giving me some great comments and help direct my comments sometimes to where they need to be. Commissioner McVeigh, Commissioner Ostreicher, and Commissioner Massengill. Thank you guys for being willing, all of you that have been willing to sit down with me at times when we were butting heads on different things, but we were able to sit down and discuss those things and talk about them and leave that meeting still, not necessarily being close friends, but still being friends. And again, not running and placing all that on Facebook and trying to make us for the board look bad. I want to thank the staff from the county manager down and across the whole county. We have worked through some difficult times. My first term was very easy. Very easy. We had very few big problems, and then, of course, COVID came. And the staff has worked through very difficult times through COVID, and also we have seen the ugly political environment that has been created in Castle County, and they have worked through that. Some have left because of that. Believe it or not, they have. Most of all, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who gave me the strength to endure this. 8 years, He gave me wisdom and discernment. I pray that I honor Him in all that I said and did, and the way I reacted and responded to many of you when we disagreed. To the ones that will be left on the board and the upcoming ones, you will see me from time to time. I have a lot more I'd love to say, but I'm going to save that for public comments later on in the year, because it will take up too much time. So again, just thank you for the opportunity, the privilege, and the honor of serving the residents of Castle County. Thank you.
Mr. Overstreet.
There it is. Charles Dickens wrote in his book, A Tale of Two Cities, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. That pretty well describes my first 2 years and the second 2 years as a Caswell County Commissioner. The best of times. During my term, I helped implement or supported the implementation of several items that I'm very proud of, including that was me. The HIDO, the moratorium on polluting industries, school bond financing with a very low USDA interest rate, improved budget process, including contingency financing, improved contract reviews, improve public comments receptivity, careful and judicious spending of our taxpayers' money. I was also very pleased and blessed to work with 2 fellow commissioners, the county manager, the clerk to the board, and the county department heads and their staffs. Namely, David Owen, whose integrity, virtually limitless work ethic, attention to detail, and concern and support for the people of the county is amazing and should be an inspiration for current and future commissioners. Vernon Massenet, like David, his attention to detail, understanding of the big picture, and impact of the issues put before us, willingness to put in his time and effort in an already completely full schedule, and his focus on what are the right things to do for the people of the county is also inspirational. Brian Miller, the county is fortunate beyond words to have such a knowledgeable, hardworking, and dedicated manager. I have learned a great deal about local and state laws from Brian, and I'm also pleased he picked up a few bits of knowledge from me. Carla Smith and the county department heads and their staff are amazing and dedicated and hardworking people that we're fortunate to have. If you want to know about the worst of times, come see me later.
Mr. Chairman, first of all, never have been a political person, never have desired to be a political person. But when one of your friends asks you to take his place, if something happens, you do so. That's the reason I'm sitting here today. I'd like to commend and thank the 3 new commissioners who are coming on board. I'd like to thank this board for their acceptance of me as a friend and fellow commissioner. But you know what? These chairs we sit in, they don't belong to us. We only have a name tag up here that says our name. These chairs belong to the people of Caswell County. We're allowed for a certain period of time to sit into these chairs and to do the work of the people. We should listen to the entire population of this county and not a small group or a certain pack. We and you as commissioners should attend as many functions as you possibly can, because that's where you learn the real needs and desires of the people of this county. And after you attend those meetings, even with the towns, you learn what's needed to make this county what it can be. This is a position of service that does not stop when the sun goes down. It's a 24/7 job. I too would like to thank the employees of this county. They deserve our respect, and we should be of service to them. They are one of the largest and best resources we have in this county. And we are here to listen and to be respectful and to allow them as county employees to move this county forward. I would also like to thank the county manager for his never-ending and sometimes thankless job that he does, and all the staff that supports him. This board also has to understand and to help with the education of our young people. they are the ones that will be sitting in these chairs at some point. And we, this body, does not want to be the ones that have denied them the resources that they need to succeed in life. I've lived in this county most of my life and would not change my decision to come back after college to raise my children, my grandchildren, and now my great-grandchildren. You know, this county may be known as a poor county financially or statistically, but in my view, because of the people that live in this county, we are the richest. Thank you for your support and words of gratitude that I have received during my tenure.
Thank you, sir. Any more commissioner comments?
Yes. Yesterday, my mother-in-law had a serious health emergency, and I just want to thank the Castle County EMS Department, Duke Life Light, and Danville Regional Medical Center for their professionalism and the way they handled the whole situation. Kudos to all of them.
Mr. Chairman, before you take your recess, just one thing I did forget for the commissioners coming on. I'm sorry I can't not stay for your swearing in. I have a funeral that I have to do, so I'll have to leave as soon as we take the recess. But I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Mr. Hall.
Mr. Chairman, if Commissioner Owen has to leave, and I want to give an applause to all of the commissioners that are now going off. Something that's well deserved for anyone that will step forward to be a public servant. So I applaud you all for it.
Chairman, I would like to thank all the commissioners going off, because I enjoy working with you. I think last year too, depending on the village car, but not to the vote, I really thank all of you. Thank you also, Mr. Officer, that came on. I appreciate working with you. May God bless all of you.
Thank you.
I want to thank y'all for all the times that you put up with me, especially you, Mr. Owen. I would be out on the tractor and we would be discussing money issues and stuff, and I'd pick up the phone and call David and say, hey, take a look at this and see what you think. I'm baling hay right now. It wouldn't be long. David would take a look at it and he'd call me back and tell me what he thought we could do or couldn't do. And he don't know how much I appreciate that. In the same way that Mr. Massey and Mr. Ostrake, we've got a lot of times I would pick up the phone with Mr. Massengill late at night, early in the morning, and ask him what he thought about questions. And all these guys help make decisions, and I just want to tell you thank you, and I will miss you, boys. I will miss you.
And before we take recess, I would like to say on behalf of the employees and the citizens of Castle County, we do appreciate all your hard work, and we do want to give you a small token of our appreciation just to thank you for your service to Castle County and its citizens.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. If there's no more commissioner comments, we'll take a short recess before we go to organizational meeting. So at this time, I'll turn the meeting over to the clerk.
At this time, we'll ask the upcoming members to take their seat at the table, and then we'll get ready to do oaths. We'll turn this portion over to John Satterfield, and he'll call them up to their oath, and they can take their seat at the table.
Madam Clerk, you wish for me to administer the oath?
Yes, sir. You'll do it at the podium so that they can be captured on camera.
Clerk, you ready to resume?
Yes, sir.
If Mr. Holt will come down,
They need to come up here and stand.
yes, sir. I think the clerk wished so that they could be on video, maybe from this corner right here, if that's okay.
We'll just stand on the top of that.
You'll just approach right here. And if you will take your oath, please. Do you, Marvin Finch Holt Jr., solemnly swear that you will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as Commissioner of Caswell County, so help you God? Congratulations, sir. Sir, I'll have you execute your oath by signing. Mr. Rose, ma'am. All right, Mr. Rose, will you raise your right hand and take your oath of office? Do you, Frank Edward Rose Jr., solemnly swear that you will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as Commissioner of Caswell County, so help you God? Congratulations. Mr. Yarborough? Mr. Yarborough, if you'll raise your right hand and take your oath. Do you, Timothy Edwin Yarborough, solemnly swear that you will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as Commissioner of Caswell County, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations. Have you execute your oath? Thank you, Madam Clerk. It was an honor.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will now have to have the election for our chairman of the board of commissioners. We will take nominations at this time.
Ms. Clerk, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Hall for chairman, please.
I make a motion to close on that name, thing is second.
I would like to nominate Tim Yarborough for chairman.
What's second?
Okay, we have two nominations on the floor. We will now take votes. We will vote for Commissioner Hall, if you would, by simply raising your hand so we can capture the vote. As we're nominating Nate Hall as chairman to the Board of Commissioners. Okay, and I'll capture the vote. Okay, and now we'll take the vote for Commissioner Yarborough as chair of the board. If you would simply raise your hand to place your vote. Okay, according to the vote, we have Commissioner Hall winning this position, so he will be appointed chair of the Board of Commissioners for this upcoming year. And at this time, Mr. Hall, will give it over to you, and you can do the nominations for the vice chair for this coming year.
The board is now open for the election of vice chair for Castle County Board of Commissioners.
Mr. Hall, I nominate Mr. Rick McVeigh for vice chair.
Mr. Rick McVeigh has been nominated. Is there another nomination?
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Commissioner Dickerson for vice chair.
Commissioner Dickerson has been nominated. Is there another nomination? Not, nomination will stand closed with the two said names. We'll go in alphabetical order. Mr. Dickerson, those in favor, as the clerk indicated, please raise your right hand. And for Mr. McVeigh, those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, the winner is Mr. Dickerson. Is that not correct?
Yes, you are correct.
Okay, thank you. At this point, we're in for another recess. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. We will now call the meeting back to order. Again, I want to welcome our newly elected commissioners. Thank you for putting yourself forward, being willing to serve. I want to thank all of the commissioners for nominating me to be your chair for a year, and the faith you put into me for what we've got to do in the next coming year. We've got next public comments. Okay, we have no public comments this morning, so we will continue to move forward. Are there any recognitions? Any commissioners or staff? No recognitions. We'll move on to discussion items. Boards and committees for commissioners. Now, I don't know if the new commissioners had an opportunity to look at the boards and commissions you have had.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then, I'll give a little deference to our current city commissioners and see if there are any boards and commissioners that they want to maintain or to keep, and if any they want to give up. I'll start with Mr. Jeffries on the end.
He can't hear you. What boards and committees do you want to be on?
I'm already on the secretary, vacant, yeah. So I'm gonna say that. I still want already have.
Okay, what do you have, sir? I'm sorry, you on social services and what?
Vacant, yeah. You heard?
Commissioner Jeffries currently serves on the Social Services Board, the Piedmont Behavioral Health Board, the Castle County Adult Advisory Committee, and the Home Health Advisory Committee.
Okay. Mr. Manager,
Yes, sir.
you are the clerk. You'll be better able to assist me in this because you have the list. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you just hold it there and you can just tell us out loud.
Okay.
Mr. McVeigh.
Yes, sir. I was asked about taking DSS board, since Mr. Owen will not have it. So I'll be glad to take DSS, and I will let the Recreation Commission, somebody else can handle that.
I would like to take that.
Okay, Mr. Hope has volunteered to take the Recreation Board that you are willing to give up.
Right.
Okay.
And I'll take DSS.
To take DSS. Okay.
Commissioners, before we move forward, we just need to make sure that that's an appointment from the Board of Commissioners, that the Board of Commissioners makes. That may be a DSS board appointment. We'll check into it, and we'll leave it at this swap for now, and if there's something different, we'll get back.
Okay. Mr. Dickerson.
I'm willing to stay on the current committees on, and that's cybersecurity, personnel, the wildlife advisory, and cemetery.
Okay. Did you all get that?
No.
Okay, now,
Do you need me?
I'm having trouble hearing, I'm sorry.
So Commissioner Dickerson currently serves on the Cybersecurity Committee, Personnel Committee, Castle County Hunting and Wildlife Advisory Committee, and Cemeteries Board of Trustees. He will remain on those four committees.
okay. Got that. Now, I don't know the appropriate way to do today, because I don't want to discriminate against any board member that might have something they want to do. So if there's a particular board, either one of the next two of you have in mind that you would like to serve, speak up now and we'll work it in.
Mr. Chairman, the 3-6 boards that I have been given, I'm fine with 5 out of the 6. However, the EMS peer review committee, I feel like may be a conflict because I have a family member that works at EMS.
Okay.
So I respectfully decline that position.
When does that board meet?
It meets periodically during the day.
We mean by
It meets as needed or on a quarterly basis.
I don't
Quarterly.
So we don't have a standing meeting date, let me say.
I don't mind taking that board for, since y'all.
EMS peer review committee.
Mr. Chair, myself and Commissioner Holt, he wants to be on the Hunt Advisory Committee as alternate. So I will switch with him and take the E911 board. I looked at Mr. Owen's list here, there's quite a few. Some of these, I could not find. Some of these, like the NCACC stuff, the one thing I will say, I know that there's a meeting coming up this month about Highway 86.
That would be DOT.
December 21st.
And that's North Carolina DOT.
Correct.
Okay.
Me being the newly elected commissioner, I was just gonna bring it to the attention of, Chairman, if they would like to have somebody else who has been on the board a while, that seriousness of it, that's totally up to the board.
Well, I can tell you, sir, from experience, once you go to one of these board meetings, it's something that you're interested in as a public servant, you just dive right in. It's always the first time, always particular meeting. And if you're familiar with what the subject matter is, and that is, what would you say, Highway 86?
Yes, sir.
And you know how important or how unimportant that might be to the citizens of Campbell County.
When is that meeting supposed to be held?
That meeting occurs on the 21st of this month.
Where is it?
At PTRC in Kernersville. That is a Wednesday. I'm happy to attend the meeting as well if the board would like.
Is that a standard PTRC meeting date?
It is.
But it's after.
It is. It was one for the regular meetings. It's one for the regular meetings.
Oh, okay. So that's a full board of delegates meeting.
Well, it's one of their TAC meetings or RPO meetings.
Okay.
And as far as some of these other, the NCACC Health and Human Services and the NCACC joints, do you know when those meet? The reason I'm asking, I work 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, for contract. I'm trying to see if I don't want to hear and not be able to be at these.
So the NCACC Joint Risk Management Advisory Board of Trustees, Commissioner Owen was no longer a part of that committee, so that's when you can work on.
What about the North Carolina, the Health and Human Services?
I do believe he currently serves on that committee.
That is a standard, one of the standard meetings of the NCACC, Health and Human Services, Education, Government, and a few other things. So we can get dates, we can find out what the dates are. If there's a conflict with your schedule, we can, you can just let the board know, and the board will ask someone else to attend. And we will also check with the NCACC board on these appointments. Normally, there's not enough people sometimes to go around. But we do encourage as many Capital County commissioners to attend these meetings as possible. And that doesn't necessarily mean for the NCACC that you have to attend them all. But you attend them and have Capital County written across your chest, you'll get to know who you are. Now, did we cover everything? Have we got everything covered?
Mr. Holt?
Yeah,
Stop.
just to review, I've switched with Mr. Rose on the hunting advisory, and I took the recreational board for that. I've got the local emergency planning committee, the cybersecurity committee, and the library advisory board. don't know how good I'll be with that one, but, I could take on something else if somebody's got too much. Is it?
Commissioner Hall, if I may make a suggestion, if the commissioners would just like to work together over the next couple of weeks, we can have this back on the agenda for our first meeting or our next meeting, and the board members can make us aware of the changes that they made.
I think that's a good idea. I had thought about maybe suggesting that we delay it all, but it's always said that the sooner we get started, the sooner we'll get to some type of endpoint where we want to end up. So that's a good idea. We will proceed right now as we've discussed. Commissioners, any and all commissioners can get together with anybody they might want to make a change or adjust that. And at the next meeting, then we'll take a vote on all the assignments so that we can notify all the appropriate agencies and departments who are representatives and who we plan for them to be for the next year. Okay. Thank you. The next thing on our agenda is the Commissioner's Planning Work Session. This is probably twofold. One, to get an idea of what we would like to do in the next year and where we would like to start working for the next year. I think this is a little early to do that. Many commissioners would like, probably especially the newer commissioners, would want to take a look at what's gone on over the past year, if you haven't already. And then we'll take a look at a schedule. Now, the last couple of years, we've had these meetings, I think on Saturday, probably Saturday morning. It's sometimes difficult to jam a planning session into 4 hours or 3 hours of work on a Saturday. We tried to do it, I remember the last time, and some members had already decided they had to leave at noon. And personally, I don't think we covered everything to the extent that we wanted to cover it. So what I would suggest we do, we'll put this on the agenda and let's discuss at the next meeting at what time we would like to have this meeting. If we want to do it on a Saturday morning, if we want to do it in 1 or 2 sessions. We want to do it in the evening. It could get late doing it one evening, but the consensus of the board, I think, is what I would tend to go with. And I hope the consensus of the board will be what the majority of the board will tend to go with. So let's do that for the next meeting. Also, planning session, whether we want to do it on a weekend or Saturday, whether we want to do it for 2 sessions or more. Okay? The next action item is approval of the agenda. There are some specific things that we do tend to do at the first meeting. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved, Joe.
We got a motion, Commissioner Jefferson, is there a second?
Second.
Got a second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries, so we'll move on. First item under the agenda is approval of bonds for public officials. Mr. Manager, would you give us a brief description of what this is about?
Commissioners, each year, there's a schedule of approvals for bonds for the register of deeds, the tax collector, the sheriff, and the finance officer. These bonds are required by state statute, and we would just request that you approve these bonds as they are. They're bonds, and the amount of bonds are required by statute.
You have to list those bonds in front of the amount of those bonds.
Yes, the register of deeds, $25,000. The tax collector is $75,000. The sheriff is $25,000, and the finance officer is $1 million. The finance director is, there has been a change to the bond for the finance director. The reason for the change is the requirements for the bond changed to 10% of the county's budget, or $1 million, whichever is the lesser amount. $1 million is our lesser amount, so that's the reason for the $1 million bond for the finance officer.
Any question about these bonds? One question, Mr. Manager. Does these bonds cover everybody that handle cash for the county?
No, correct. No, these cover the individual on which the bonds were placed.
Okay, so for the next meeting, can you provide the board with an idea of a list of those other county employees that may handle cash for the county for the board's consideration?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor of the board's bonds as announced and described by the county manager, please say aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it, and we'll proceed forward with the bonds for the listed individuals. Board of Commissioners meeting dates. As a rule, and probably by state statute, I'm saying probably because there might be some differences. We meet on the first and the third Mondays of each month. However, we do make adjustments from time to time for holidays. So, county manager, what holidays might impact our meeting dates? Or just tell us the proposed meeting dates that we followed last year with the holidays being considered.
So the 2023 meeting dates are listed in your agenda packet. January 17th is a meeting date, and that's a holiday. And Tuesday, September 5th, 2023 is also a holiday that would impact your first meeting in September. So those meeting dates historically fall on the Tuesday after the meeting. So instead of January 17th, it would be January 18th. And instead of September 5th, it would be September 6th.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. County Manager, according to your printout you have here, those dates already show on a Tuesday.
Yes, that's correct.
So it won't be changed to the 18th, 17th?
That's correct. That's correct. Like 17th and the 5th are the correct dates. Those are the Tuesdays.
Thank you for that observation. I didn't have mine. I didn't have mine. All right, are there any other questions or observations concerning holidays as it relates to commissioners' meetings?
And Commissioners, I'll just add on, the first Monday as a rule of thumb is the 9 o'clock in the morning meeting. the second meeting is 6:30 in the evening. That may be something else that the board would like to discuss.
Mr. Chairman, going to county manager's point of meeting times. When I ran for this office, I had several constituents complain to me about daytime meetings while they were at work that they could not attend because of their work schedule. I completely understand that. I know that Commissioner Rose and myself, and I know Commissioner Dixon still actively employed trying to make a living. And for those that are retired, I hope to get there one day. I don't know allowed to make it or not. But that being said, I would like for this board to consider changing our meeting times to all evening meetings. 6:30, 7, whatever be the pleasure of the board. I would like for it to be discussed.
Okay, the chair, you now open the board for discussion for evening meeting.
You do realize that, I guess it's open for discussion.
Yeah.
Hard to do this thing. You do realize that when we have these meetings in the evenings, that our employees are on overtime.
Yes, sir. I
It's
do.
costing the taxpayer extra dollars.
I do, but the taxpayer's my boss as well as everybody else.
Okay,
That's on this board for county employees.
right.
If a taxpayer tells me that I can't attend the meeting because they're in the morning, what can you do about it? This is the only solution that I see.
Well, just be aware that it costs us extra money when we have to have them in the meeting.
So is that something,
Other
that,
comment?
is that something that being a department heads, they can have comp time where they can take it off like on Friday?
Talk, we can't have hearing down here.
I said, is that something like comp time where if they make comp time on a Tuesday, if they haven't attended a meeting, they can take it off on the following Friday, being the department head? Working is blanking. It's just blanking.
Check and make sure all our language works. The question is are staff people able to take comp time off later on in the week, like on Friday or something?
Yes, at times. So at times there are opportunities for staff to do that. At other times, there's not opportunities for staff to do that. So we would try to make that available to staff to be able to do. Sometimes the duties that they're required to do not avail themselves of being able to do that. So having said that, there's other county employees that may need to be appear before the board and give presentations or be present that are not comp time employees or flex time employees. They would be hourly employees. So they would generate overtime and be paid for that overtime at time and a half while period. That's rare. That will not happen very much. Most of the time, it's either comp time or flex time that would be received.
They have a year to take their comp time off, state.
No,
Correct.
no comp time deals. So they can take it anytime.
Right, I mean, they have a year for the time they get.
No, it continuously builds.
Right, but what I'm saying is, within that year, if they have not taken it off, then they have to be paid for it.
No, we have, this is
continues to be.
right, so it continues to build. We have a limit, an internal state statute says we can have up to 240 hours of comp time. After 240 hours, we have to pay that comp time out. Flex time, there really is no rule. We have an internal limit of 200 hours. That way, if something happens, we're not building over that 240 hour limit. And after 200 hours, we speak to the employee, ask them to start taking it off. If they still can't do that, in certain situations, we pay that comp time out. And at the end of someone's employment, we pay the remaining comp time out. So.
We tried this before, all night meeting, we had a lot of vendors that didn't come, and we had a lot of old people that would like to come to the meeting. And we changed it back to daytime, and I know it'd be better for some people on that at night, but my suggestion is to at least stay on day. We have proper time to our things all at night, so we tried this before. We have had all things at night. Yeah. So we did that, and we switched it back to daytime. Because of that. If you kind of recall.
Any other discussion on this issue?
Mr. Miller, how many county employees are required, other than you, the clerk?
The clerk and I are the only two that are required to be here, and as well as the county attorney, are the only employees that are required to be here. From time to time, there's other subjects come up, and there's subject matter experts like finance and IT and so on and so forth that the board may want to discuss, and that would require another department head to be here.
Now, getting back to the issue of comp time, does the employee have the option of either getting paid on comp time or just comp time?
No, employees are scheduled one of two ways. They either are paid, well, that's not true. They're either paid or they receive comp time. There are certain limited situations where an employee's board will make a request that they get paid for comp time in lieu of comp time. That happens occasionally with elections and ESS. EMS is hourly, so they get paid, hourly. They don't receive comp time or flex time. And 911 is the same.
So for clarity, Mr. Manager, if for whatever reason there is an EMS employee or the other one,
EMS, from time to time, elections, during an election, 911.
if they are asked to attend the meeting, information or clarification, this is just information at this point, we would be required and are now required to pay them at an hourly rate.
If it is an EMS non-exempt employee, yes. If it's a 911, EMS 911 or Sheriff's Department employee that serves as a non-exempt employee, then yes, we would be required to pay them an hourly rate.
Okay. Other questions, comments, or any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we change our meeting times to 6:30 p.m. for all meetings. Regular board meetings, that is.
We've got a motion to change our regular meeting times to 6:30 p.m. on the meeting days. First and third Monday. Is there a second on this motion?
I second the motion.
We've got a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? There being no further discussion, all in favor of the motion, please let it be known by raising your right hand. Okay. We got 4 votes. All disapproval, please raise your right hand. 3 votes. Motion carried. So beginning, one thing you did not indicate was a starting date. May I suggest that we start this in January? That's not problematic with your motion.
Which one would be?
That's fine. Which one, Mr. Chairman, the 3rd, January 3rd?
Yes, the first meeting. Okay. The motion carries, and the person that made that motion accepted it. I won't call it a friendly amendment, because we didn't vote on the amendment, but accepted my suggestion that we start this in January with the first meeting. Mr. Manager.
Mr. Chairman, in years past, the board has chosen to cancel the second meeting in December due to the holidays and holiday schedules. This year, that meeting would fall on the 21st, which is also the RPO TAC meeting. So I would suggest that the board review that at this time and see if the board wanted to cancel the second meeting in December, as you have in years past.
Now, I think there's a board of delegates meeting also.
Yeah.
That day.
So for certain commissioners, it's already going to be a long day.
Okay. Board thoughts on that?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The meeting date would be the 19th, not the 21st. So it would not fall on the same day, it would fall on the same week as the RPO TAC.
Is there any pressing business that needs to be taken care of at that meeting?
Not that I'm aware of. There's no public hearings, there's. No.
Well, as your new chair, I might be speaking a little out of order. But to my way of thinking, there's always pressing business for the county of Calhoun, for things for us to do. But with that said, I'll still leave it up to the consensus of this board, whether we cancel the second meeting in December or not. If there's any further discussion on this matter.
Mr. Miller, how many years have you been canceling the second meeting in December? I know you used to.
I can only remember maybe 1 year that we had this second meeting in December.
But you actually had the meeting.
That's correct. It's usually canceled. That's what I think.
That answers the question.
Any other questions, comments regarding cancellation of the second meeting in December? There being none, the chair will entertain a motion, one way or the other.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we cancel the second Board of Commissioners meeting for the month of December.
I second that motion.
We've got a motion and a second to cancel the second meeting scheduled for this month in December. Any discussion and further discussion on this motion? There being none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Got 4 votes, those opposed, please raise your right hand. 3 votes, the motion carries. The second meeting scheduled for December will be canceled. Approval of rules of procedure. we have those in our packet.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We also need to discuss, before we move on, the holiday schedule. 2023 holiday schedule.
I'm sorry, I missed that. I thought that was, we included that with the meeting dates, but we didn't. Okay, let's go back to the holiday schedule.
Mr. Chairman, these are the holidays observed by the state. We follow the state schedule. We just ask that you approve the holidays listed here.
How many in total are there?
There's 10 holidays that make up 13 total holiday days.
Any questions or comments about the holiday schedule? There being none, all in favor? No, Chair will entertain a motion to approve the holidays for Castle County for the next 12 months.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried. Now we're at the rules of procedure. Mr. Madden.
Commissioners, included in your agenda packets are the rules of procedure for the Castle County Board of Commissioners. We have the county attorney with us today, as well as myself, the clerk. We're happy to answer any questions about the rules of procedure that you may have. And if there are none, we ask that you approve the Castle County Board of Commissioners rules of procedure.
Did everyone have an opportunity or a chance to read the rules procedure? Is there a motion to approve?
I got a question, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Miller, under the organization of the board, rule number 4, organizational meeting of even number of years, which is this is one of those years. Just a question from my own lack of knowledge, I guess. Last sentence in that reads, as the 4th and 5th orders of business, the board may appoint a clerk and an attorney. Do we do that at this meeting, or is that something that we don't take action on, or what?
No, that's not something that's usually taken up. All three of us serve at the will of the board in a story. The clerk's position is the clerk's position, and it states the clerk's position. The county attorney's position is currently handled by contract, and that was done maybe 3 months ago, 4 months ago. We completed that process 3 or 4 months ago.
But to be clear, and just to follow on what the manager said, I serve at your pleasure, right? So tomorrow, today, should you want to make a change, you're free to do that. It's at your discretion. So we do obviously have to have a contract about services. So serve at your pleasure, as the manager said.
Thank you.
And just one other observation. I know that earlier in one of our conversations, somebody referred to our general counsel as an employee. He is not an employee of the county. He is a contract position. And that makes a difference for Federal Standards Act and all kinds of rules and regulations as to how he or she compensated, in this case, is people. Okay.
We didn't get a motion.
We did.
We didn't get a motion yet.
There's no motion.
Oh, okay. I was asking for a motion to approve. For this rule. On the rules of procedure. Is there any action to be taken on the rules of procedure?
I think it would be best if the board approved the rules of procedure.
So moved. Okay, we got a motion from Mr. McVeigh. Is there a second?
Second.
Got a second from Mr. Dickerson. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. Proceed. Fund for heating assistance. That's
Commissioner,
something that I think was not on the last meeting.
that's correct.
It's not a part of the organization meeting.
That's correct.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Commissioners, at your last meeting, you heard from the Castle Parish as well as our Castle County Senior Director serving as president of the Castle Fund. Last year, between these two entities, there was $46,000 appropriated to these funds to help Castle County residents pay for heating assistance. So the issue's back before you this year as to what the board, if any, wants to appropriate for heating assistance for the residents of the county. I can tell you, I am aware of several residents that have approached the senior center director and asked. I know the Castle Parish is already receiving requests for help with heating assistance. With that increase in price in heating oil, I do believe that there's a real need by the citizens of our county. As I said, between the two entities, $10,000 going to the parish, $36,000 going to the Castle County Senior Center or Castle Fund. We're happy to answer any questions you may have. We do have our Senior Center Director with us here today. She can answer any questions you may have.
You saying that the amounts were 36 and 10 that were given last time?
That's correct. They had a total, they received $7,500 from Duke Energy, $36,000 from the county, $9,500 from the town of Milton, the total $53,000 total for the Castle Fund, and then there was $10,000 given to the Castle Parish. So all in all, they had $63,000 to help with heating oil, and there was some in that. There was also some utility assistance and rent assistance, mortgage assistance. The issue that comes to you today is, I think, strictly dealing with heating oil and electricity for heating homes.
So at the last meeting, Mr. Manager, we discussed some dollars, and we didn't appropriate anything.
That's correct.
I can only hope at this point that our newer commissioners had an opportunity to read the minutes, so they know what we discussed at the last meeting. Is there any further discussion on this issue? Is there a motion for action to be taken?
Commissioners, as I previously said, in years past, or last year, the board appropriated $46,000 for this heating fund. If I'm not terribly mistaken, I believe the way that happened was you appropriated, I think, $20,000 initially. And then after that money ran out, they had served everybody that they needed to serve. And that money dissipated. There was an additional request for additional funding to them. I might suggest that if it pleases the board, the board move forward in that same vein and appropriate, instead of $36,000, maybe $20,000, see how that, see what the need is through that $20,000 appropriation, and if additional funds are needed, then we can come back to it.
Is everybody clear on what the county manager is suggesting?
Mr. Miller, is that money already in the budget?
No.
Mr. Miller, regardless of what we decide to do today, I would suggest that this is an item that we need to put into the budget process.
I agree wholeheartedly.
All that off-budget approval of extra spending over and above what we have allocated in the budget is going to get this county in serious trouble with their taxes.
Any further discussion?
Just for clarification, Mr. Miller, this in the packet that we have, those funds, the 7,500 from Duke Energy, the 36 from the county, and the 9,500 from town of Milton, is that what was used last heating season? That's what's proposed for this heating season?
No, that was used last year. We did not receive $7,500 from Duke Energy this year. We did not receive $9,500 from the town of Milton this year. So what you appropriate is all that the council fund is going to have to work with. And they will be working in conjunction with the Castle Parish. I'm not recommending to you that you make two appropriations serving the same need, let them all go through the same organization. Just let the Castle Fund work with the Castle Parish to achieve that end.
Now, I know you said we could break it down, maybe do X dollars now, X dollars later if it's needed. Go back over what you're maybe recommending we spend appropriate now. 20,000, is that true?
Well, I think that's a good place to start. I think, and maybe our senior center director, Janine Everidge, she's the one that receives the request. She's the one that received the request last year. Maybe she can speak to the need a little bit better than I can. But I think there's a need out there for $20,000. I think that's a good place to start.
One quick question. You know what happened to Duke Energy and town of Milton?
The town of Milton, they appropriated $9,500. And that was to be spent for their residents, period, like the residents within the town of Milton. So that's just for their residents. And it was administered through the Castle Fund. Duke Energy, I don't think we received $7,500. I think we received $2,500.
We received $2,500 2 months ago for them.
For heating, and has that been spent?
We have $1,000 left.
Okay.
That'll be gone shortly.
What would you consider the need?
So I'll give you an example of one of my senior ladies who actually had come to me about fuel assistance. She lives alone. She currently is battling cancer. She told me that she had gone to Thomasville and it will cost her $587 for just 100 gallons of fuel. She gets $900 a month. She still has to pay for food. She still has to pay her electric bill and whatever utilities she may have. She rents the home she lives in. It's not her home, so it probably needs new windows and such. But that's the biggest issue at this point, is how much the fuel has gone up for these individuals who are heating with fuel. So we would definitely look at, last year was COVID funding. So that's why we were able to use those funds to help across the county, because it was capital fund. The parish did the same thing.
We had a cap of $500 when we decided when we started working on this. So no one would be accepted. If there was an exception, the committee would discuss what that exception was. Not all of those utilities and fuel bills were $500, but some of them were. Like I said, they have this particular individual has already contacted Thompson. It's $587 just for 100 gallons, and that will not get her through a month, especially if it's a hard one.
When you say it's a $500 cap, now is that $500 one time?
Yes, sir.
The whole year?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? What do you need? Thank you, that's it. Any further questions? The floor is now open for actions to be taken on this request. Any actions, gentlemen, to be taken on this request? There being no action from the floor, the chair will move that we start with a grant of at least $20,000 for the capital heating fund. Is there a second? There is no second, the motion fails. Thank you. Now, Mr. Chairman, the next thing we've got is board and commission's appointment. Did we not include that with the other appointments?
This is for citizen boards.
Oh, citizen board, okay. Gotcha. We have how many boards? And we got 2 boards that are now open for appointment that we have received some information on.
Yes.
Would you name those for us, please?
Those are the planning board and the social services board.
Okay. Planning board and the social services board. And how many nominations do we have for the planning board?
You have 3 applications received from the planning board.
3 out.
Those 3 applications are from Russell Johnson, Steve Harrison Jr., and Ron Richmond. You have 2 applications expiring. Those are for Russell Johnson and Ron Richmond.
We'll vote on all of them at one time, or just?
Yeah, how many positions do we have available?
2. 2 positions, 3 applications.
Sure. 2 on the planning board, and you've got 1 on social services. Are you gonna vote on all the members at one time like we've done before?
I was gonna try to get to the planning board since we got 3 apps and 2 vacancies.
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Russell Johnson and Ron Richmond for planning board.
I'll second that.
We got Johnson and who's the other?
Ron Richmond.
Richard. Richmond. And Richard. For the planning board, any other nominations?
That's why I just second his motion.
Okay. There's no further nominations. Consider the nominations closed. And with 2 positions, we will approve Johnson and Richards by acclamation. I guess, well, just in case there's a technicality, we'll vote. All in favor of this motion for these two, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. So we now have appointed Johnson and Richards to the planning board for the social services board. Mr. Jeffers. No, not here.
Well, we have her name, I'm gonna call Patricia Thomas, is also on the file of social service. But I think that was, appointed by the state, I believe, I'm not sure, but it keep coming back on the board, so nobody applied, so I'll nominate.
I think that was one of the things that the county manager is gonna check on who appoints that position.
Yeah, Commissioner, just as a point of procedure, let us look into that, and we'll bring this one back to you on your next agenda.
Okay.
I see you do have an application received by former Commissioner Owen for this position. So let us shore up the positions. We'll bring this back to you on your next agenda.
Okay,
Okay.
that sounds good. Now, are there other positions that we will be appointing in the future that we not as yet have applications for?
Yes, there's several positions that we still need, or several positions we still need applications for.
Okay. So we'll handle that as we move forward and as they come in. Thank you. Okay. County managers updates.
Commissioners, I do want to just inform the board that the tree lighting ceremony occurred this past Friday night. There were a lot of people in town. I think it was a good time to have all, had all. It was very festive, and I just like to thank the groups that worked on that. I know a lot of our emergency service folks did that or helped out with that. And the fire departments helped out a lot, and North Village Pharmacy helped out. So I just like to thank the different groups, and I know I'm probably forgetting one, but I'd like to thank the groups that helped out with that. I'll just inform the board too that the Christmas parade was rescheduled for the 18th at 3 o'clock. So that's a Sunday, the 18th at 3 o'clock. We will have vehicles there for board members to participate in the parade. We'll also have utility vehicles driving behind to hand out candy. I've invited staff from departments to be present to hand out candy, walk behind the utility vehicles. If you as commissioners prefer walk and hand out candy rather than ride, that's fine. Just let us know and we'll make those arrangements. I do want to, we have today with us our bond counsel, Paul Jacobson, the board, Paul Jacobson, our new bond counsel. After the meeting today, Mr. Chairman, we will be asking you to come down with us and finalize the USDA financing for the Bartley Yancey High School. That financing has already been approved. The resolutions and everything by the board have been taken care of. So all we need now is the final signatures, and that's what our bond counsel is here today to help us with. So I do want to let the board know that that's going to take place today. And members of the board, if you have a minute after the meeting, please speak to Mr. Jacobson. He does a tremendous job for the county in handling a lot of our financial endeavors. I think that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions that you as board members may have. But that's all the updates that I have.
Okay, next order of business is commissioner comments. I'm gonna start to my right, in case the commissioners on my left have gotten their comments together, if they want to make any. And we do this every meeting, so be prepared if you like, at any time to make comments at the end of the meeting. And we'll start with Mr. Jeffries.
Well, I have a little comments. I ain't got no comments, but we want to recognize Ms. Gwen for Baker Health report. We went down to, Henderson, North Carolina, had a meeting, rest of the meeting been virtual. We didn't go to it. And a few things that that the board don't know what Baker's actually doing for Castle County. And I'm gonna let her come up and kind of explain to you. She did an outstanding job, and we only went to one meeting. So I just want her to come up and kind of feel the board is working.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Commissioners, I'll just say as Aisha makes her way to the podium, this is also, we have, as a structure, we have county manager. We have the deputy county manager, who is Melissa Williamson. Aisha serves as our assistant county manager. And family services coordinator, so a little bit of a dual role there.
Yes, definitely. Good morning, Commissioners. I'll be very brief. We did attend the meeting on November 1st, and Diane Moorfield, with the Social Services Director, she assisted us with data collection. But one thing that we wanted to bring to your attention is that Via Health is a local LME, and they'll be presenting to the board, I think, in January 3rd, I think, at the very first meeting. But I want to let you know that 265 individuals in Castle County access mental health services through Via Health from April to June. Those are the only numbers we had, and that's without a hospital. In comparison, Chatham County had 224 individuals, and they have a community hospital. So even though our numbers may appear low in comparison to others in the region, that is actually greater than the community, the next largest community, which is Chatham County, that has a hospital. If you have any questions about Via Health, like I said, they'll be here January 3rd. Any questions about the meeting, myself or Commissioner Jeffries can answer that for you. Thank you.
I just want to add something else to it. Social services have these Medicaid clients, when they comes in with that provider, and that provider do not want to change to Baker, so she like to go as using that same provider. That's all right.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Dickinson.
Since I've been on this board, each year at budget time, we seem to be rushed and in a hurry when the budget is presented. I would like to have that process started earlier, where we've got plenty of time to go through each item and be able to make a determination of the expenditures under a non-pressured schedule.
Yes, sir, we plan to start the budget this year in March. So meetings should start soon thereafter.
I'll address my comments to my fellow board members. I appreciate the opportunity that the citizens have given me to serve in this role. I look forward to serving with each one of you. There are a lot of things I'm sure we'll agree on. There are some things that I'm sure we won't agree on. And so with that, we'll just have to agree to disagree, as the saying goes. But I look forward to this, and if I can be of any assistance to any of you, don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you.
Mr. Rhodes.
I will, kind of go off of Commissioner Yarber's comments. I think the citizens of District 1 have nominated who supported me through 2 races, one in primary, one in general election. I would do everything I can to see that the citizens, that their best interest is looked after. I know I'm not going to always make the right decision. I'm not going to make everybody happy. I'm going to anybody that does. I wouldn't say Jesus Christ couldn't make everybody happy, so I don't think I'm going to do that either. I do look forward to working with the board and seeing how we can move this county in a positive forward direction.
So,
Well, I'm happy to be here. I appreciate everything. It's been a lot of help and a lot of nice people helping me out. I'm actually leaving here in a few minutes to go to Winston, have the surgery. One of the reasons I was kind of glad we decided to skip the next meeting. I'm hoping to be back by the next meeting. They saying I'll be down for 2 months, but I'm hoping I'll be able to make it. Hopefully y'all pray for me and I'll be back and get started when we get back. I appreciate everything. Thank you.
thank you. Okay, let's see, is there anything else that should come before the board? We've got the notation of announcements and upcoming events, and we can note that the parade has been changed, and we can note that the next commissioner's meeting has been changed. No further business comes before the board. We will adjourn.